but for a bit of relief. Now I think I'm gonna pull apart a tool, and that tool is this Makita battery circular saw. I'm going to have a look inside it. I basically want to take this connection port out because I'm going to connect it to one of two things. I'll tell you about that later. First, let's open this thing up. You might remember this circular saw from one of the flood videos. Dead. Just got a little bit of water dripping out of it. Oh, there's water coming out of the handle as well. So I've run a few tests on this saw and I can't work out, it doesn't seem to be anything getting from where the battery hooks on to the brushes or the switch. So I think, judging by the bubble in here, this thing is fried. So anywho, what I really want is to take this off, so I will nip that off now. Just need this white and black wire. So there's the part I want. It's the connection terminal for the battery, an 18 volt Makita battery. So I now want to attach that to this. This is a Black & Decker 18 volt handle. It's just the handle for a pole saw and hedge trimmer. So I've got two of these handles, so I don't mind if I stuff one up. These are left over from the flood, and the batteries and charger were sitting on the floor and now no more. So I'm going to see if I can get it to run on a Makita, just for fun. And hopefully this is nice and easy on the inside. I can just wire this straight into this and then work out a way of being able to slide the battery on. And yeah, new Makita saw. Anyway, let's pull it apart. Okay, let's have a look inside here. Well, that all looks pretty simple, I think. Okay, let's disengage that. I'll have to drop that off the bench. Wow, there we go. Well, we've got the switch and the terminal for the Makita Black & Decker battery. So if I just undo that there, hook it up to this one, hopefully we'll be cooking with gas. Okay, so I've just loosely jammed the wires of the Makita terminal into the switch here. The other Black & Decker one's still just hanging there. So here's our Makita. We'll just hook that onto a battery. Like so, and that terminal's come off. Put the camera down for a minute. Hang on, let's see if we can get that in there. Ooh, it might just be touching enough. Now I've got this hooked up now to the chainsaw attachment, hole saw. Now, fingers crossed, when I pull this trigger, she's gonna run. Oh, she's a going. You little beauty. She lives again. Now, I just need to make an attachment so I can slide the Makita battery onto the tool. And that's going to be the tricky bit. I could cut the bottom off this, say, and then glue that on or screw it on somehow onto here. Or I could make one out of timber, which would be really cool, but extremely time consuming. Or I could get one 3D printed. Need a 3D printer. That'd be so easy. I'll go think about that. So I was going to work out a way of putting this inside my handle here. And I need something for the battery to clip onto. And I could either cut the base off the skill saw or make one. So I was going to make one out of timber. I looked at the shape of things, trying to work out how to, route all that out and do it. And I thought, it'd be a fun little project. But then, of course, I remembered this. It's perfect. It's basically just exactly what I want. Just something to slide onto a battery and bugger all else. It's got the thing already in it. You slide a battery onto it. It's nice and streamlined, and I can just stick this straight in here. Just basically screw it in, hook the wires up, and it should be ready to go. So let's have a wee look-see here. This will be a much easier solution, that's for damn sure. Much quicker, because I don't know when I would have got around to doing the timber one. I've been thinking about it for weeks. And just, no, I'll never get around to it. And these were pretty cheap. And you can watch my video on this functionality of this USB charger. It's a knockoff. Oh, the screw's already out. And yeah, have a look at that. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, and do the rubber. That's what's holding it back. So, yep, all I need to do, take these 2 points off. Not a bad little unit, eh? So anyway, take those off, put it back together with the leads running to the leads on my handle thingy, what's it there, that I can chuck on a pole saw and a hedge trimmer. Man, too easy. Too easy. And now I just think I got this in the mail. Here from that well-known international auction site. A genuine Makita terminal plate. So I can actually keep this as it is. And maybe just put something around it so it doesn't get fucked. And carry on using it as a USB charger. And this, I'll just hook a couple of wires onto it, and hopefully it should slide on in here. Bob's your bloody uncle. And look at that, you little Ronnie Coot. She's a ripper. She'll be perfect. Just hack this bugger off, screw her in, woohoo! Got to be something in the wife's little kit here to cut this off with. Come out, you bastard. Ah. Sanding shit. No little blade. Piece of junk. Oh well. Could do with a multi-saw. You know what, I think I'm just going to do it old school with a bloody angle grinder. Voila! So all I need to do is remove these tangs off here, hook them up to my new terminal, and we'll be good to go. Just snap it off easy. Get rid of those, and I'll solder them on here. Now make sure when you're soldering it on, of course, that you get your pluses on your pluses and your minus on your minus. Else you ain't going nowhere, or your tool will be running backwards. Next I have to cut a bit of a slot so that I can get my wires to poke through. She ain't pretty, but she'll do the trick. Now before I make provisions for the wires and stuff in here, attaching this, I'm going to make sure she wants to go. Right, moment of truth. I better hook an end on it, eh? Chuck on ye old Mr. Battery. Push ye old trigger. Where is it? We have power! Right, work out how to put this thing back together. Switch must be there. Like so. Safety switch. Ah, shit. Well, let's have it of that. On a lot of things I'd leave the safety switch off. But you don't want to pick this up and accidentally hit the trigger and take a chunk out of your deck with the end of the bloody chainsaw. So I'd better find that bugger. Pin there. So that, yep, that's the safety mechanism. Now to get the switch up into its position with the length of these wires, could use a bit more wire length ideally, but we'll stick with it at the moment. I'm going to cut out some of this material so that I can get this up as tight as I can, and it'll look better that way too. Just got to make sure it gets to within at least halfway, and it does, of this center line here. So I'll cut that out and see if we can assemble it. Angle grinders, is there anything they can't do? Well, they can't quite get into that friggin' gap. So I might have to bring out my least favorite tool. Look at this. This is the blade I'm going to use. $2 from China, delivered to New Zealand, including postage, $2 New Zealand dollars. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, that's about I don't know, $1.40 or something US. But I mean, $2 delivered to New Zealand. I couldn't send a letter to China for $2 New Zealand. You can lead it in China's about $3.20, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's over $2. I mean, a standard letter inside New Zealand's $1. So how they can manage to make it and send it to New Zealand from China, if I was sending this to China, it's probably going to cost me $10. Unbelievable. Let's see if it works. First hurdle overcome, she fits. Oh, flick it on at the wall now. She's done the trick. She ain't pretty though. So with most of the bits back in there, it's not very well made, this tool. This is just ABS plastic, it's not nylon or anything. The switch, the way that the switch is very cheap, and the way it works is dodgy as, because you pull the safety thing and then this, you can see it in there, it just pushes up the side of the switch and that pokes it in, but it's putting pressure that way against something that's meant to go that way. So it's a wonder it's lasted. Anywho, I will now screw this in here. I think I'll take these labels off. And we'll make it look like a proper tool. Not doing anything too flashy here, just putting them in with some wood screws. And obviously when it was originally screwed together, that cable was just clamped between the two bits of plastic, which is pretty piss poor. Alright, got all my bits crossed, let's see if it works. She's making noise. Get on there, you. This would have been in the landfill. Now it's got a new lease of life. Hopefully. There's MAK and DECKER. It's been a long time coming up with that. Anyway, you don't really want to watch me put all these screws in, do you? So I'll jump to them all being in. Well, she's not too shabby at all. I think it looks quite good actually. When I first started doing it, I thought it was going to look a bit rough, but that's not too bad. I mean, that ugly looking bit of plastic and that was sort of like that anyway. I mean, it's not all that different to what it was. Well pleased. Just have to be careful though if you are doing something like this. Whatever protection the battery had from the built-in protection inside Makita tools, overload protection, all that sort of thing, ain't gonna be working. So you could maybe potentially overheat this battery or stuff it up in some other way, so just be careful if you're going to do something like this. But overall, that was good. It was a success. I'm happy, and I've got a few other things I'm going to modify in the future, so now I know an easy way to do it. And not only have I got a pole saw attachment, but I've also got a hedge trimmer attachment, all running off my new MAK and DECKER. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, blah de blah, yada yada.
What really got the Victorians to turn to bathing, however,
it just fried something even more.